So somebody was asking like on this actually applies for programming for Unity, applies for game development as such also. So basic tasks for Unity programming, what does it involve is that basic understanding of Unity, what the 3D package is all about, its hierarchy, the project panes, how it organizes the 3D assets, and where you can actually plug in or develop some plugins or say coding, or say you can add interactivity to that one. So these are the basic tasks. Then understanding some essential maths, because as you know that there is a difference in between the science and art. The science is quite an analytical one, where the art is quite a synthesis one. And for a scientific world, the maths is the only language. Why? Because if you want to show some particular thing, that suppose if your plane is moving in some particular direction, suppose whether it will be colliding it or not, or suppose if you want to come up with some shader which has got a like silk kind of feeling to it, how would you actually create that particular thing? So shader development. So basic thing is that you can actually use it some say cos theta, because cos 0 is 1 and cos 90 is 0. So what happens is that if your light and camera goes in line, then obviously you are going to get 100% lighting reflected that from that particular surface, and as you go on increasing your angle, you are not going to get that particular lighting effect. This is how the smooth look of feel of a shader can be seen. So basically you should understand vector matrices and physics. Basic physics I am talking about. I am not talking about like higher level of physics, but basic physics, that is at most important. So once these basics are done, then there is a specialization, because as you can see that there is not only the specialization but super duper specialization is also there. In specialization, some people actually get comfortable with editor scripting. So what happens is with editor scripting is if you are in animation industry, you must have seen that there are lots of tools to or they write some Maya scripts to for rigging and all. So similarly in Unity, suppose if you want to come up with some say pipeline tools, that is done using editor scripting and tools development. UI programming is also there, and then gameplay programming, shader programming as I was talking about right now, the network programming. Suppose if you want to come up with say MMO game, how you would you actually post your instruction onto server, and from server how you will communicate with your peers, all that stuff will come under network programming. AI programming is also completely a different scenario. I'm just briefly going on to this thing because just to convey that idea that what are the things that interest you. Obviously you should go into that particular sector. For artists, what is eligibility is something like they must actually start working with the tutorials, game art courses, and portfolio development, because normally people are not interested to see your monsters and trees and aliens, because that is enough of them. So suppose if you want to become a good game artist, then you must work, or as somebody was asking like to Rohit, what do I need to do means to become a good game artist? So he must have a good understanding about say normal map creations, then some kind of like lighting, baking, how it works, and or suppose if you are working with the level designing, what are the actually principles of level designing, that is at most important. And when it comes to programming or say software engineers design, you must take courses with game development. Why I am talking about and stressing about the game courses, because otherwise you will actually waste a lot of time to understand those things, which actually you can learn it say within say some 2 days. It might take about say 2 months for you to come up to that level, because there are some terms which actually it is much better that say if your senior explains it to you, you understand it much better. From there onwards you can, it's up to you that how you can build on it. So go through lots of books, and Google and Wikipedia is the best source. So whoever says that I'm a self development, I've done all the self development, but actually he goes through lots of online material. That is nothing but the crux of all this success. So I listed some of the few links. So what I would advise to game artists is that the art is utmost important. They must start practicing. They must pledge for sketch a day. That is very, very important, so that that artistry will be there. And at any point, it's much better to copy art at initial phases, because that gives you kind of like inspiration. And for a programmer, I would say that you must go through at least a tutorial a day. And if you are pursuing in that same task, then after a year you will see that you are totally transformed from a newbie to some kind of like intermediate level knowledgeable person. Then you can actually find out lots of avenues. So again, last mantra that I would like to give you is that start from anywhere with what you have, do something out of it, and never be satisfied. There is no end to creativity that I have achieved this kind of a milestone, now that is done. No, in art field there is no satisfaction. That is at most important. So I guess with the help of this presentation, you must have got some completely a different idea of philosophy of what Albert Einstein is talking about the reality. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit very persistent one. So as we have seen, the mixed reality, augmented reality, and the physical reality and virtual reality. So there might be a question you would ask, that whether the physical reality is real. Only Albert Einstein can answer you. That's it. Thanks.
So we can take any questions. Just feel free to shoot any.
We can have some questions from the company people. Feel free.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything.
Basically, my name is Devatka, and last year I started a company in augmented reality and virtual reality. So currently we are selling to customers in real estate field, and we have one product launching this month only of the tiles giant in India. So my basic question is, almost you have covered everything, all the points about the virtual reality, augmented reality, in terms of artist and development. So, but still, whenever I hire people or I take interviews, there is some problem in the what I want and what there is a very, very huge gap, even on the artist side and the development side. So, what you will address to these people? I mean, you should learn so and so things.
I think primarily, so one of the key points out here that we were trying to at least mention was Unity. If you consider that as a platform that allows you to address the entire breadth of AR, VR, any of the new technologies that are coming up. So getting familiar. So somebody had asked a question: do game artists, should they learn Unity? So I would say, now thinking beyond games, this is where you can actually see the applications. Now in this case, if you are actually learning more about Unity, it allows you to become, so see, finally end of the day it's a tool. If you know how to use the tool, you can create all these things, provided your basic concepts are in place. So getting to know the tool as intimately as possible, that would really help solve this problem of potential employers who want to employ you, but at the same time there's a gap that I want to employ them, this is what I really want them to do, but they are not up to the mark. Now obviously for this, as Praveen mentioned, this is something that, for one, you need to get familiar with all the terms, with all the technology, with all the tools in addition to Unity. So Unity is the core of all this. How would you say, for example, looking at the reference of the auditorium, since you mentioned real estate, how would you try and model those chairs, all the data, the entire design in Maya using just floor plans? So it's a very practical thing. Maybe I would actually take a top-down view of the floor plan, trace out everything, build the walls at a very, very basic level. You are actually translating data from a 2D format into a 3D world. This is one picture from the artist side, but rather than stopping there, getting it into Unity and being able to render it, say using different shaders, materials, whatever you want to use, and getting a visual look defined for it. So this is one part of the puzzle where the content is actually coming into Unity. How do you enhance this with respect to the business use case here? That real estate people want this. Maybe in that case you need to add other things like, for example, here the lighting. So when the lights start dimming out, this was a very key feature for them because it allowed them to showcase one of their key strengths of, okay, we are going to show this kind of a lighting effect. This is where the programmers would come in, who can actually make that kind of an effect possible using the content that the artist has created. Now, again, as with every game development team or any kind of a team-based environment, the artist would need to work with the programmer. So, the more knowledge an artist has of the programming side and vice versa, the easier is it for people to work together and finally end up there deliver a quality product. So the gap is there because we just tend to be like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, I've done this. But thinking a little bit beyond and trying to look at it as a big picture where I'm understanding the business use case also. So this is the difference, right? As Jitin mentioned earlier, entertainment was the key focus. If your player is not entertained, your games are failure. Same way, the use case here is the builder wants to showcase his product in the best possible quality. Are you satisfying that? If not, then whatever effort you're putting in is wasted. So it's the same thing, applying that to a different domain, maybe not entertainment, but the process that you would go through in order to create something like this is exactly the same. So again, to answer the question, getting to know the tools intimately and being able to translate, this is what is expected, using the tool into something that can be delivered. Purely, I would say, practice, more prototypes. So a lot of this, it's not something that, okay, we started out, the company started, one day we have this, in 1 month we have delivered the solution. There was a lot of experimentation, there was a lot of R&D. If you don't do that, you'll never get it. You'll get somewhere, but then what is it that you're trying to achieve and where you are right now and how do you bridge that gap? This is for you to actually try and look up on Google, try and figure out what solutions are there existing in the market right now, what techniques are available, imbibing all of those into a pipeline that you can actually deliver. And always remember one thing, delivering something is one part of the puzzle. Making it a consistent process through which you can deliver more often with less effort is what, so as Rohit mentioned in the morning, tools. So you're not going to design a level every single time. Think of it, Temple Run, infinite runner. Levels are generated procedurally. If you actually have to manually generate all the levels, a lot of games actually with all 1000 levels and everything are generated procedurally. So what you're doing is that you're creating a tool which is automating some part of the process. Same thing, out here, what tools can you create? For example, could we create a tool for real estate where we can quickly place all the objects in real-time 3D rather than doing it in Maya, texturing, rendering? Can we actually do it in Unity itself and then deliver something in 2 days rather than 2 months? So this is an example of a tool that is applicable for this market, equivalent to the game development tool that Rohit talked about. So tools would automate things essentially.